Number 4, if you don't feel like doing something, don't do it. Let's stop setting ourselves on fire to keep other people warm. Give yourself permission to say no. Welcome to Living Life in Color Again, the podcast for anyone who has lost a loved one to homicide. I'm your host, Kimberly Christopher. Back in April 2025, I had the pleasure of being a guest on a wonderful podcast called Grit Beyond Measure, hosted by Frank J. Frank is a well-respected military veteran and leader who is using his platform to explore resilience, growth, and grit, and share tools that we can use to find personal and professional resolve. Grit Beyond Measure is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I was featured on an episode called Bending Without Breaking, during which Frank and I talked about the long-term impact of losing my brother to homicide. The final question that Frank asked me is as follows. If someone listening is struggling with their own trauma, what's one piece of advice you'd offer them to help take that first step toward healing? I've been thinking about that conversation a lot lately, so I decided to share a portion of that discussion with you. It was impossible for me to give one piece of advice because the process of healing after trauma is so layered. Here are my 7 recommendations. Number 1, center yourself and protect your peace. This sounds easy, but if you were conditioned to be a people pleaser, this might be difficult. If others see you as the strong one, or if centering the feelings of others has kept you safe in some way, then centering yourself could be difficult, but you can do it. Take small steps. For example, leverage the Do Not Disturb feature on your phone. When turned on, this feature silences calls, alerts, and notifications to prevent interruptions. You can customize your D&D settings, including adding people or apps that can bypass the silence, or scheduling it for specific times. You can also use it at a moment's notice. So if you wake up and don't feel like talking to anyone, turn on the D&D feature and leave it on until you feel ready to interact with others. It's a good way to create boundaries and peace without having to first announce your plan to take time for yourself. Number 2, similarly, consider how people, places, and things either enhance or disrupt your peace. If you think that going to a particular place will create anxiety for you, then don't go. I have learned to ask, who else will be there? Or very directly, I'll ask, will so-and-so be there? If I'm invited to attend a gathering. If someone with a history of disturbing my peace will be there, I politely decline. And if I just think that someone might disrupt my peace, I politely decline. And you can decide how much or how little to share with the host of the gathering regarding why you will not attend the event. Setting boundaries for self-preservation is important. Setting boundaries may not be easy for everyone, so if you need some help in this area, I suggest searching for a therapist or picking up one of the many well-written books on the topic. Number 3, tap into all available resources at your disposal. For example, if you are employed, ask if your employer has an employee assistance program, also called EAP, and ask whether you are eligible to participate. EAP typically offers a set amount of counseling sessions with a therapist at no charge to you. There may be other benefits that your employer's EAP offers too. Ask if your employer offers any kind of short-term job-protected leave or an arrangement that gives you a few days away from work to focus on your well-being. Inquire about any federal, state, or local organizations that offer assistance. Also, consider support groups. Since 2020, many support groups have gone virtual, and there's a great chance that you can find one that works with your schedule. There's no pressure to talk, so even if you just sit with others and listen, you may find that helpful. The participants of the support group might also point you toward other resources that you might find helpful. Number 4, if you don't feel like doing something, don't do it. Let's stop setting ourselves on fire to keep other people warm. Give yourself permission to say no. I know many people who can easily say no to anyone without fear of retribution. And then there are others who wrestle with setting boundaries or with being seen as difficult. Maybe you've always been the one who shows up for other people, so others are not accustomed to hearing you say no. So the act of saying no might feel revolutionary. Create some language for yourself that you can use when you need to. So, for example, someone invites you to a social event and you know that you don't have the energy for it. You can say something like, "Today I need to focus on my well being and cannot attend the party. I do appreciate your invitation, though." I'll share some advice that I read a little while back. Instead of fully committing to an event, buy yourself some time by saying something like, "Let me think about that and get back to you." And then really think about whether you have the wherewithal to attend. And if you have committed to attend an event, but the day before that event, you don't feel like you're in the headspace for it, give yourself permission to change your mind. Reach out to the host and say, "Hey, listen, I can't attend the party, but have fun. Let's catch up another day." Number 5, create a support team that meets your needs. Your support team might include a trauma-informed therapist, good friends, or family members who listen well, or who are okay with just sitting with you when you need to cry. I also recommend that you evaluate your circle of friends and relatives. So, with that party example, when you told your friend that you can't attend because you need to focus on your well being, listen to how they respond. If they say, "Okay, well, I'll call you tomorrow and let you know about the party," then that may not be someone for your support team, and perhaps not even a good friend. If the friend says, "I'm so sorry to hear that. How can I help? I could skip the party and come over, or I can come visit after the party." Now, that's the kind of supportive person who is good to keep close. This is a time to evaluate your circle and make decisions about who stays and who goes. The reality is that not everyone will be supportive. Some may lack the will to be supportive, while others lack the skill needed to be supportive. In either case, it is not your job to figure out why they aren't being supportive. When you're in the middle of a crisis, you don't have the mental and emotional capacity to do that. Your well-being is better served by deciding how much access other people have to you. And as your needs change, your support team can change. Until fairly recently, I was a member of a virtual support group for homicide survivors. Those group members were helpful during a period of time and continue to help each other. My needs are different, and I have had to shift my support team accordingly. Number 6, be open to trying different healing modalities. If you're a person of faith, lean on your faith. Tap into your faith community for social opportunities or studies that might speak to grief or resilience. Meditate on encouraging spiritual texts or lyrics to songs. Just moving your body may be helpful too, and doesn't need to be expensive. Consider calisthenics. Calisthenics is a form of exercise and strength training that uses your own body weight for resistance, often with minimal or no equipment, to build strength, endurance, coordination, and flexibility. Common calisthenic exercises include squats, push-ups, lunges, and planks, which can be adapted to various fitness levels, making it an accessible and versatile workout for beginners and advanced athletes alike. Definitely get clearance from your medical doctor before starting any strenuous exercises. Being outside in nature is soothing, whether it's sitting on a park bench and listening to the birds, exploring a hiking trail, or taking your exercise outside, like jumping rope or participating in one of those free yoga on the lawn sessions. And number 7, most importantly, give yourself grace. Dealing with trauma is hard. People think that time heals everything, but it doesn't. I've gotten stronger and learned how to safeguard myself emotionally, but the pain of loss is still very real. After trauma, we humans don't bounce back to our original shape. Taking the first steps toward healing requires courage. Your healing journey does not need to look like anyone else's. You are your best advocate, so be intentional about the people, places, and things that get your precious time. In 2007, Congress designated September 25th as the National Day of Remembrance for Murder Victims. The annual National Day of Remembrance for Murder Victims gives us all the chance to remember those lost to homicide and honor their memories. Before we close, I want to have a moment of silence for anyone who is mourning the recent death of a loved one to homicide, anyone observing the anniversary of a loved one's death, or navigating holidays and or the birthday of a departed loved one. May you find peace. May you find compassion. Thanks for listening. If you found this helpful, subscribe to the podcast on iHeartRadio or Spotify and share with your friends. Until next time.